What if I told you that the most famous love story in the Eastern world is about a man who lost his mind over a woman, and to this day nobody can fully explain why? Not money, not status, not even in the end whether she loved him back. He simply could not stop. Today we are talking about the strange ancient ache of wanting someone for reasons you cannot name, and a 1,000-year-old idea that explains exactly why your brain does this to you. Welcome back to Thought Trek, where we dig up forgotten wisdom and hold it against your actual life. This week the theme is longing without a reason, the kind of pull that has no logic and no off switch. And it starts in the desert around the year 680. There was a young Bedouin poet named Qays from the Banu Amir tribe in the Najd region of Arabia. He met a girl named Layla when they were children studying together. Something happened in him that did not happen in anyone else. He fell and he kept falling. He started composing poems about her out loud, in public, to anyone who would listen. Her name, over and over, in the marketplace, in the street. His tribe watched this and gave him a nickname, Majnun. It means possessed or mad, literally taken by a spirit. And here's the cruel part. Because he made his love so public, Layla's father refused to let them marry. She was married off to another man. And Qays did not recover. He walked into the wilderness and lived among animals, thin and ragged, reciting her name to the rocks. Now fast forward 500 years. A Persian poet named Nizami takes this half-remembered desert legend, and in the year 1188 turns it into one of the great epic poems of all time. But Nizami does something fascinating. He does not treat Majnun as a fool, he treats him as a kind of saint. Because by then, the Sufi mystics had seen something in this story. They used Majnun to explain their own deepest idea. They called it ishq, a love so consuming it burns away the self. To them, Majnun was not crazy. He was the truest lover who ever lived, longing for a beloved he could never possess, which is exactly how they describe the soul longing for God. Sit with that. A culture looked at a man who ruined his life pining for someone, and instead of saying what is wrong with him, they said he understands something the rest of us are too comfortable to feel. Now jump forward again. All the way to 1979, a psychologist named Dorothy Tenov is interviewing hundreds of people about being in love, and she keeps hearing the same thing. People describe an involuntary obsession with someone. Intrusive thoughts they cannot stop, a craving for the smallest sign of interest. She gives it a name, Limerence. And the detail that matters most is this. Tenov found that limerence does not need the person to be right for you. It does not even need them to like you back. What it needs is uncertainty. The not knowing is the fuel. That is the secret hiding inside the Majnun story. He was never sure. Layla was always just out of reach, and the uncertainty did not cool the fire. It fed it. Which brings us to your phone. Because if uncertainty is the fuel, we have built an entire world made of it. The situationship, the unanswered text, the person who likes your story but never replies, the crush you only know through curated highlight reels. A 2025 study described it perfectly. We can now experience this longing from our own bedrooms, pouring real feeling into someone who is barely there. Half of young adults say they have been in a situationship, that emotional limbo where one person quietly aches and the other stays casual. You are not broken. You are Majnun with a smartphone, and the algorithm is feeding you exactly enough breadcrumbs to keep the fire going. So what do you actually do with this? Here's the dare. First, name the uncertainty out loud. Not the person, the uncertainty. Say it plainly. I am not in love with them, I am hooked on not knowing. The moment you can see the fuel, the fire gets smaller. Imagine I never got to do this. You can. Second, kill the breadcrumbs. For 1 week, stop checking their profile. Mute, do not stalk. Tenov's whole engine runs on tiny ambiguous signals, so starve it. You will feel the withdrawal, and that feeling is proof it was never really about them. Third, give the longing a real target. The Sufis believed all that yearning was actually meant for something bigger than one person. You do not have to get mystical about it. Point that intensity at something that can actually love you back. A craft, a body of work, a friendship, a version of yourself you have been avoiding. Longing is not the enemy. Aiming it at a locked door is. Here is the whole thing in one breath. For 1300 years we have told the story of a man who pined for someone for reasons he could not name. And we have never been able to look away because somewhere we all know that ache. The lesson is not to stop longing. It is to understand what you are really longing for and to stop letting a locked door run your life. If this hits somewhere real, subscribe to Thought Trek, because this weekend we are telling the full two-part story of Majnun himself, the man who became a legend by losing everything for love. Part 1 drops Saturday, Part 2 Sunday, and trust me, you're going to want to know how it ends. Thanks for spending these few minutes with me. Go aim that fire somewhere worthy.